He broke his back in the middle of a match and he played on. He lost 4 toes, kept one in a vodka bottle, and he never won the world title that everyone thought he would win. This is not just a story of pain. It's about the loudest survivor in darts, a man who made the sport shine and bleed in equal measure. How did a tunneler from East London turn agony into legend? And why did the biggest stage try to keep him quiet? Bobby George was born on December the 16th, 1945 in Manor Park, East London, into a world of hard work and little glamour. His early life played out underground and on building sites, not in smoky pubs or on televised stages. As a young man, Bobby joined the teams digging the Victoria Line beneath London, working as a tunneler, pushing through clay and darkness with little more than muscle and grit. The pay was steady, the hours long, and the work brutal. When the tunneling finished, he picked up whatever jobs paid. Builder, nightclub bouncer, floor layer. Each role demanded a strong back and a thick skin. There was no sign he would ever throw a dart for a living. Most future champions started as teenagers, but Bobby did not take darts seriously until he turned 30. By then, his hands were calloused from years of manual labour, not from gripping flights and barrels. The world of darts had its own codes and quiet professionals. Bobby arrived with the confidence of a man who had already survived the toughest shifts London could throw at him. In 1979, Bobby George crashed through the doors of professional darts like nobody before him. The news of the World Championship drew a staggering 100,000 entrants, but Bobby did not just win, he bulldozed the field without dropping a single leg. His average was 100.20, unheard of at the time, and it happened live on the BBC, the first time the tournament had ever been broadcast nationwide. But Bobby was not content to just win. He turned a rival into spectacle. Gold chains hung from his neck, rings glinted on every finger, and he strode to the stage flanked by glamour models holding candelabras. The crowd roared, but the old guard recoiled. Eric Bristow spat. He's all show, no substance. Bobby did not flinch. I gave the crowd what they paid for, entertainment. Darts had always been a silent game of precision, but Bobby drenched it in Las Vegas light. For the first time, skill and showmanship stood side by side, and nobody watching could look away. The next 13 years were a parade of heartbreak. After that electric 1980 final against Eric Bristow, Bobby kept reaching the biggest stages. 7 major ranking finals between 1981 and 1993. Each time he walked up in golden swagger. Each time he walked away with nothing but the runner-up's check. The press latched on, calling him the best player never to win a world title. It stung every time. 1988 brought another shot, this time against John Lowe in the British Open final. Lowe took the trophy. In 1989 and 1991, Bobby made more finals, but the result never changed. The headlines piled up. Bristow and Lowe collected titles and respect. Bobby collected silver medals and the tag of almost champion. He said he had the talent and he had the bottle, but something always went wrong at the finish. The crowd still loved him, but the game kept slipping away at the last hurdle. The weight of those losses pressed down year after year until something inside finally gave way. Quarter-final at Lakeside, January 1994. Bobby George took the stage against Kevin Kenny, chasing a shot at the world title that always seemed just out of reach. He won a set, and for a heartbeat, the old swagger returned. Bobby jumped in celebration, just a small leap, nothing wild. But when he landed, a bolt of pain shot through his body. He would later say he heard his own back crack. The crowd kept cheering, but backstage, Bobby collapsed. He could not straighten up. Every breath felt like a threat. Doctors rushed in. The verdict was brutal, his spine was damaged, and there was no chance he could play again that weekend. The surgeon did not mince words. He should not even be able to walk. Bobby stared them down and said, "Watch me." He refused painkillers. He demanded control over his own pain. That night, a steel corset was built just for him. a metal cage to hold his spine together. 24 hours later, Bobby was still standing. Bobby George strapped a steel corset around his torso, the metal pressing into his skin with every breath. The doctors had told him to forget about playing. He refused the painkillers, wanting to feel every warning his body sent. 24 hours after his spine gave way, he walked out for the semi-final against Magnus Carris, moving stiffly but moving. Each step was a dare. Each throw sent pain shooting up his back. He fell behind, 4 sets to 2, close to collapse, and 2 sets from defeat. Then, with the crowd holding its breath, Bobby did the impossible. He strung together 9 straight legs, clawing back the deficit, refusing to let agony decide the match. The scoreboard kept flipping. The pain never let up, but the darts found their mark. He won the semi-final, battered barely upright, and booked his place in the World Championship final. Defiance had carried him further than his body should have allowed. The World Championship final in January 1994 was less a contest and more a slow-motion collapse. Bobby George faced John Part, but his body was finished. Each trip to the throw line looked heavier than the last. The numbers told the story: 5 doubles from 49 attempts, barely 10%. He lost every set 6-0. The board blurred, his hands shook, but he refused to quit. No walk off, no surrender. When it was over, Bobby left the stage and went straight to surgery. 8 titanium screws were drilled into his spine to hold what was left together. He would later joke, "I've got more metal in me than the Victoria line." But the pain was no punchline. The price for that one last run was measured in scars, metal, and months of slow recovery. He had chased the dream all the way to the end, and the cost was written across his body forever. In 1999, Bobby George faced a new kind of trouble. His toes had started to twist and overlap, warping beneath him with every step. It was not darts, it was genetics. Bones gone rogue. The doctors laid it out: either lose 4 toes or lose the ability to walk. Bobby did not blink. "Do what you have to do," he told the surgeon. 4 toes gone, just like that, but Bobby kept one, a memento from the operating table. He took it home, dropped it in a vodka bottle, and set it behind the bar at George Hall, his sprawling, dart-shaped mansion. "I walk like a monkey now, but I'm still walking." The sport that cheered for pints and bravado had given him something new to pickle. For Bobby, even his own toe became a trophy. Proof that pain and a little bit of dark humour could be bottled and displayed for all to see. George Hall stands as the ultimate monument to Bobby George's refusal to fade away. The mansion sprawls across the countryside, every inch shaped like a dart, filled with reminders of a career that never played by the rules. 17 bedrooms, all paid for with exhibition money. Proof that Bobby turned showmanship into a living, not just a legacy. While rivals like Eric Bristow, Jocky Wilson, and Andy Fordham burned out before their time, gone at 60, 62, and 59, Bobby kept turning up year after year. Since 1998, he has been a fixture on BBC Darts broadcast, his voice and wit as sharp as ever. The story does not end with him. In 2013, his son Richie reached the semi-final at the BDO World Championship, carrying the family name back onto the big stage. Through it all, Bobby never stopped working, never stopped entertaining. In a sport littered with ghosts, he remains defiantly present. Bobby George proves survival isn't about trophies. It is about refusing to disappear, no matter the scars. In a sport where legends often destroy themselves, he is still here, 79 and unbroken by the game. Not every champion lifts a trophy, some just outlast a silence. What would you keep as proof?